Most people trying to search Oakland court records end up completely wasting their time on fake databases, outdated websites, or ridiculously expensive background check services. If you've ever found yourself stuck in that frustrating loop, trust me, you are not alone. In this explainer, you're going to learn the absolute fastest, legitimate way to find real court records online, strictly using official California court resources.
Look, we all know the drill. You type a name into a search engine, you click what looks like a really promising link, and boom, suddenly you are hit with a massive paywall for a premium background check. And the worst part? It usually ends up containing outdated or just totally inaccurate information. It's so frustrating, and honestly, it's completely unnecessary. Today, we are bypassing all that noise and going straight to the official source.
So here is exactly what you're about to get from this explainer. We're cutting straight to the official tools, the free methods whenever they're available, the fastest search strategies to save you time, the major mistakes you absolutely must avoid, and the legal privacy limits that usually trip people up.
First things first, let's establish exactly what we are actually looking at here. Oakland is the county seat of Alameda County, which means it houses major courthouses like the historic Rene C. Davidson Courthouse. So Alameda County court records are the official documentation of local civil, traffic, family, probate, and criminal proceedings, all maintained by the Superior Court. And under California law, preserving these records is a legal obligation. It's all designed to foster government accountability and real transparency. But as you'll see in a second, not everything is public.
Okay, let's dive into this, because not everything is an open book. While California definitely has a fundamental presumption that court records are public, there are some very strict exceptions. Your open files typically include standard civil disputes, criminal proceedings, probate, and traffic cases. However, restricted or closed files include things like juvenile delinquency records, adoption proceedings, active search warrants, and sensitive medical reports. Those remain completely shielded to protect individuals and, of course, ongoing investigations.
And actually, that brings us to a really important note I need to mention right up front. This explainer is strictly for informational and educational purposes only, and it is definitely not legal advice. Court record access and availability can vary wildly depending on California laws, sealed cases, juvenile protections, and active investigations. You know, knowing the rules of the road is honestly just as important as knowing where to drive.
All right, here is the absolute #1 beginner mistake when searching Alameda County databases, assuming there is only one portal. There are actually two entirely distinct systems. First, you have the eCourt public portal. This is your go-to for civil, family, and probate cases. And the best part is it doesn't even require user registration to view the basic info. On the flip side, we have the Odyssey portal, and that one handles criminal records. Now, to use Odyssey for anything beyond just checking the daily court calendar, you actually do need to register for an account. Though, good news, it is completely free to do so.
So, what is the fastest way to search once you are actually in the right portal? Well, if you have the case number, you are golden. This is by far the most accurate method. You simply go to the official Alameda County Court's website, select the eCourt portal, punch in your exact case number, and boom, the system instantly shows you the parties involved, the case status, hearing dates, and a complete register of actions showing all the filings and events. But what if you don't have the case number?
Well, that is when you have to use the name search. You choose the name search option inside the portal, type in the exact first and last name, and this is crucial, ideally a middle initial. Here is the massive trap you need to avoid: name mismatches. Searching by a super common name can produce this massive, overwhelming list of inaccurate results, spelling variations, or entirely different people. I mean, if you search John Smith without a middle initial, you are going to be scrolling through hundreds of totally unrelated cases. Always use that middle initial if you have it, and filter by case type or filing date to really narrow things down.
Let's break down what kind of info you'll actually find in these searches, starting with civil and family cases. Civil cases cover things like contract disagreements, personal injury claims, and property disputes. Family law, on the other hand, handles divorces. Now, while things like the actual date a divorce was filed and its current status are totally public in California, the sensitive stuff, financial details, bank accounts, social security numbers, and specifically anything relating to minors, that is all heavily redacted and entirely shielded from the public portal.
Moving right along to criminal and traffic cases. The Odyssey portal we mentioned earlier is where you go to look up adult criminal hearings, charges, and case dispositions. But keep this in the back of your mind. Odyssey only shows case information that has had some sort of activity since 2005. Anything older might not be there. Now, for traffic tickets, like speeding or parking violations, there is a completely separate online tool on the court's website specifically designed just for looking up and paying traffic citations. And then we have probate and estate matters. These cases handle the legal distribution of estates, wills, trusts, and guardianships. Researchers and the general public can actually use the eCourt portal to track these proceedings, see the official appointment of executors, and even monitor notices sent out to heirs. It is incredibly useful for tracking how estates are distributed. And honestly, the best part? Running a search by a probate case number on the portal is entirely free.
Now, everything we've discussed so far is strictly state level, specifically the Superior Court of California for Alameda County. But what happens if the case you're looking for is federal? Federal bankruptcy or district cases in Oakland are located on PACER, which stands for the Public Access to Court Electronic Record System. PACER does charge 10 cents a page for documents, but it has this absolutely brilliant feature, a quarterly fee waiver. If you accrue less than $30 in charges within a single quarter, your fees are completely waived. That makes it essentially free for casual users.
Have you ever done a search perfectly, typed everything right, and nothing comes up? Panic sets in, right? You immediately wondered, why is my case missing? Take a deep breath. There are a few totally normal reasons for this. It could be a criminal case that hasn't had any activity since before 2005, meaning it just never made it into the Odyssey system. It might be a strictly sealed juvenile record, an officially expunged criminal file, or honestly, it could simply be a database delay. The database is updated daily, sure, but really recent filings can sometimes take a little bit of time to post.
And this brings us right back to our initial warning. When a case is missing or just hard to find, people get desperate and often turn to third-party vendors. Avoid them at all costs. Unofficial databases routinely pull outdated or highly incomplete data, and then they have the nerve to charge you a premium for public information you could easily get yourself for free. Always, always verify details through the official court portals, especially if you are making any sort of professional or personal decisions based on that data.
Now, simply viewing a case summary online is one thing, but what if you need the actual physical documents? You basically have two choices, certified and non-certified copies. A certified copy is an official duplicate, physically signed and stamped with the court seal. It's legally recognized by other government agencies, like, say, if you need a divorce decree for immigration or passport purposes. A non-certified copy, though, that is purely for your own personal informational use and holds absolutely no legal weight.
So what does it actually cost to get your hands on these physical documents? If you're just printing regular, non-certified copies, the cost is generally 50 cents per printed page. However, if you need that official certified copy we just talked about, you're looking at a flat fee on top of that. For example, getting a certified copy of a divorce decree is $15 plus the 50 cents per page. Most other certified documents will run you a flat $40 plus that same per page copy fee.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how you need to handle requesting these files by mail if you don't want to go all the way down to the Renee C. Davidson courthouse in person. There is a very specific way you must write the check. Make it payable to the clerk of the court. Now, because you probably won't know the exact page count beforehand, you actually leave the specific dollar amount blank. But, and this is key, you strictly write not to exceed $75 right in the memo line. This ensures the clerk can fill in the exact correct amount without overcharging you.
Okay, to wrap up the practical side of things, let's rapidly summarize the most common pitfalls people run into. Number 1, using the wrong portal. Remember, eCourt is for civil, Odyssey is for criminal. Number 2, getting completely tripped up by name variations and forgetting to use middle initials. Number 3, assuming that just because you can see the case summary for free online, the actual document images are free too. They usually aren't. And finally, number 4, literally never mail cash or credit card numbers to the clerk's office for copy requests. Only checks or money orders are accepted by mail.
As you go out and explore these portals for yourself, I want to leave you with this final thought. The California Public Record System is built for massive transparency. It allows any citizen to hold the legal system accountable with just a few clicks of a mouse. But as these digital databases become faster, easier to search, and more comprehensive, are we sacrificing our privacy? Does full digital transparency eventually completely erase a person's right to be forgotten? It is a really delicate balance between public accountability and personal privacy, but it's one that you can now navigate confidently. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy searching!